necessarily. I'm just going to answer like that. When you leave the room tomorrow, everything that you've seen is fair game. Go to the B problem on that assignment. And I guarantee you're going to, a lot of you screwed this one up. Go to the B problem. First, does anyone remember, because I showed you how to do this, there was actually, this problem here, you could have done it two different ways. You could have picked the left side and done it, you could have picked the right side and done it, and either way would have been good. Does anyone remember what I showed you here? I mean, I don't know what you did. Look on your paper. This was the B problem on that second assignment. All right, Sako, what do you think?
I multiplied sine x over 1 plus cosine times 1 minus cosine x over 1 minus cosine x.
Okay. He picked the left side, and he's multiplying the top and the bottom by this. Now pay attention. I guarantee you're going to see one on the test like this. Why? 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 That's correct. Why? Why are we timesing by 1 minus cosine if that's a 1 plus cosine? What's it going to make the bottom? What? Do you remember the word? Remember, no one could remember the word. I wrote it on the board. Remember I said, do you remember what this was called from freshman algebra? No one remembered it, and I wrote it on the board. I mean, you got your notebooks there if you wrote it down. Might have been a smart thing to do. Adam? Conjugate. 1 minus cosine x is the conjugate of 1 plus cosine x. What's the denominator going to become? Nathan?
Sine squared x.
But first, what's it before you get to that? Isn't this multiply first and last?
Yeah.
So if you multiply first and last on the bottom, you would get 1 minus cosine squared of x. What about the top? Do you want to distribute? The answer is no. Watch this. Because a number of you have forgotten this. Now you guys that are sitting there going, why didn't you distribute that? Because look on the other side. See that 1 minus cosine x? There's a 1 minus cosine, so leave it be. You distribute it, you'd be going backwards. The denominator is, who told me to, who was that? What's the denominator now?
Sine squared x.
So what's your last step here? Remember, don't have blinders on. You always gotta be looking over there to see, that's your goal. Well, you only got one more simple step, simple algebra. Jimmy?
Cancel.
This sign of x cancels with one of them, and there it is. How else could you have done the same problem, somebody? It would have worked just like that. You could have, Howard?
You could have taken the right side and multiplied it by 1 plus cosine of x.
You wanted to pick the right side, multiply by 1 plus cosine of x, and 1 plus would do the same thing. You would get the other side, and that would check out. Who got that right? I mean, you got your papers there. All right, now, swipe to page 3. I want you to, on your e-backpack, look at number 1 there. See what I did? See how I converted and it kind of came right out? Now, you see where the 1 minus 1 over cosine squared is secant squared? How did I go from secant squared of x minus 1 to tan squared? There's one of your identities, right? So wouldn't secant squared of x minus 1 be tan squared? Do you see how that's just an alternate form? Who got number 1 right? I don't know what you're doing. Number 2 is the one I just did there. Swipe to page 4. All right, look at number 3. See the 1 plus tan squared? Boom, identity. Then I converted, multiplied by the reciprocal, came right out. See, that's not a real involved one. You're asking me, is that going to be like one of the hardest ones? Look at number 4. 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared, and then I did my converting, multiply by the reciprocal. Now, do you see the second to the last step in number 4? You see the 1 over cosine times 1 over sine, and you look on the right-hand side, that's identities, right? Reciprocal identities. Order doesn't matter there. Swipe to page 6. There's 8 pages of stuff there. Swipe to page 6. Look at number 8. Look what I did. I converted. I made one fraction. Came right out. 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared, common factor, cosine of x. Now that page 195, number 49, I didn't assign that. Swipe to page 8, and that's the one I just did on the board. So that's all on your computer there for you. Now, go to your notebooks, everybody. 'Cause I only got a few more things I'm going to show you here today. Go to your notebooks. Okay, in your notebook, this is Tuesday, January 3rd. Go there. Okay, put them right next to each other in your notebook. Example 1 and example 2. I only have a few things I want to show you here, and then you're going to do a few more of these. Put example 1 and example 2 next to each other. You guys got to realize these examples I pick in class, you know, I know what I'm doing here as far as what's going on in the test. You're going to see this stuff all in the test. I'm only going to change a few things around, but it'll be the same type of problem. Now those 2 problems that are on the board there, they're not that involved, but you got to know what you're looking for. Let's start with example 2. Obviously, you're going to pick the left side, right? Now,